It's just that we need to unleash that skill. Come out and see that we are fantastic creative solution providers. Think about the days when you really found creative solutions. And how did you feel? Oh, at times we feel on top of the world. Yes, we do. There are times when we provide creative solution, we feel, hey, I'm not bad. I'm good. The entire day changes for us and it suddenly becomes interesting, fulfilling. And last is the mundane thing that we do every day. You suddenly feel, oh, wow, this day is awesome. And that's exactly what happens. We become creative, provide creative solutions every day with each and every work that we are assigned. Let's try and understand a little bit more. Sorry to interrupt again. Participants, please put yourself on mute so there is a clarity out there. You're able to hear me well?
Ms. Rashmi Singh, please put your audio on mute.
Are we there? Okay, let me just take you through drama and creativity. Now, this is something which is interesting. We know of theater and we know of drama. Theater, communication between the audience and the actor, whereas drama is self-experience, what I experience. Drama is complete creativity that we can see. I'll give you an example. We're going to play an interesting exercise. Participants, please put yourself on mute. We have an interesting exercise for you now. Let's see how drama really builds the creativity. I'm going to give you 5 expressions, simple 5 expressions. And just look at me. We can't have an interactive session, but of course you can look at me and just, if you would want to, all of you can participate sitting at your own place and you can just do what I'm doing. Now we have the 5 expressions. The first one is anger. The second one is sadness. The third one is happiness. The fourth one is frustration. The fifth one is excitement. Now think of it. I'm going to add a sentence to all these expressions. Now this sentence is a very common sentence. I think all we mothers use it very often with our children. How many times I have told you not to do this thing? How many times I've told you not to do this? Now let me just take you through the expressions. The first one, how many times I've told you not to do this? My vocal cords are stretched. The same one, I go into sadness because I've been telling him umpteen number of times. How many times I've told you not to do this? You are just impossible. Now I go to happiness. Hey, darling, how many times I've told you not to do this? It troubles Mama, na? Frustration. I'm tired. I have been telling you umpteen number of times, and it's on deaf ears. Excitement. Hey, you forgot? You didn't remember? Forgot, darling. I have told you this umpteen number of times. And I hope you remember it next time. What happens here is, I'm sure if I allow you to chat, each one of us is going to say that I was the happiest when I was happy and when I was excited. As a person, I was happy only when I was happy and when I was excited. I was not happy communicating when I was in anger or when I was in frustration. This is the first step that we need to understand as parents if we need to build creative ideas in our children or implement with them creative ideas given to you. Because the first step is how creatively as parents we are having a communication with our own children. Once this is established, the child is all yours. Try communicating with him creatively in a happy expression or in an excited mode. You will see that they are a bundle of joy. You are a bundle of joy. Your creativity is at the peak. I'll just take you to your 4-year-old. A 4-year-old at home. We have many parents, I'm sure many of your children are 4-year-old. He has his friend who is also a 4-year-old knocking at the door. I'm just asking him, hey, could you come down to play? Immediate answer. He doesn't even take a moment. Yeah, of course. Mama, I'm going down to play. That's it that he says, and he just rushes down. What happens to the same child who is at his teen? Again, a 13-year-old knocks at the door and calls the 13-year-old to come down to play. Immediately, the 13-year-old starts asking questions. What are we going to play? Who is going to come to play? Is that friend going to come down? I don't like him. Can we play some other game? Everything is a thought process. A 4-year-old is creative, collaborative, and for him, it's sheer joy. He wants to be there in the moment and find creative solutions even while playing. Whereas slowly it comes down to a 13-year-old because he started rationalizing, he started thinking, and there somewhere, all his creative juices are coming down and down and down. So I always tell my parents, if we really need to implement creativity in our children, the first thing is connect to self, connect to your childlike self. You are a child at heart. All of us are children at heart. Connect to the child in you. Once you all connect to the child in you, it's a different journey altogether because there is creativity in you, there is creativity in the child, there is creativity in communication, and then the ideas that my co-hosts are going to share with you would be amazing. Many times we have heard the word think out of the box. Think out of the box is nothing but creativity. And we all keep thinking what to think, how to think. Try even more. adults use this phrase, and child seldom understands. He's looking out for what is think out of the box. I'll give you a simple example. I have a newspaper here, a piece of information. I read it, I take it down, I go for a stroll. I take this newspaper and suddenly it starts raining. Immediately my newspaper becomes my umbrella. It turns into an umbrella. That's the shield, first protect. The rain stops, but I suddenly realize my shoes have gone dirty. It's just eeks, and I need to clean them. Immediately, this same newspaper turns into a rag to clean your shoes. Once it turns into a rag and it comes up, you realize, what do I do again? Throw it? No, I start thinking, oh, let me crumble it and create it into a ball and play with my child like a clown juggling. This was a simple example where we are talking about one original thing getting transformed into a new one through your imagination. This is 21st century learning. This is the skill set that is the need of the hour, finding creative solution to any problem. Today we are on a lockdown. We found creative solutions. We found ways to create with you all on Zoom. So creativity somewhere needs to be triggered on a daily basis. It's a dose, it is a vitamin that needs to be given to the child, to the parent, to all of us. There is no limit. It's thinking beyond. And trust me, each one of us has the creativity in us. It's just the fear of rejection. What if it is not right? What if this solution is laughed at, which the child at 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 doesn't have it? It's the fear that does not allow us to think beyond. Do not put your children into a bracket where they just have the 4 options of A, B, C, and D. They can think beyond, go beyond, because they do not have the fear right now. And only when they come up with creative solutions now, will they be able to apply later in their lives. So when we are talking about a Google employing people with their skill sets, we are not talking about people who are just getting it all of a sudden. It's a practice. It's an experiential learning throughout their life. And parents from the pillar for that. So we need to be creative. We need to come up with creative solution, and that is possible. Only we need to shift. Connect with the child in us. Get off the fear. Here, another simple example. If you give a sheet of paper with 30 circles and some squares in it, and ask the child to create something unique, the child might first see a ball or a tennis racket or something which he's always seen it and he's trying to put it on paper. Suddenly, slowly, when he looks at it, there are 30 of them. And you start nudging him. Think more, and let us think. When you put yourself with him, say, let us think together. The child starts slowly maybe seeing a robo or a snowman. So he's shifting from a bat and a ball to a snowman and a robo, not just because of himself, but because of the environment, because of all of us. I'll give you an example of a child in my class. He was all of 4 years old, and I asked him to look outside the window and look at the clouds. And I said, see a shape somewhere in the cloud, any shape that you can see, and there were many 4-year-olds there. So firstly, of course, many of them didn't know how to look at it and find a shape. Slowly, to trigger it, I said, hey, you know something? I can see a lion there. When I said that, the immediate answers were, hey, I can see a tiger, teacher. I can see a fish. What happened was a series of animals that just came in. There was one child, and this is a real life example that I'm sharing. There was one child sitting there at the corner, and he put his hand up and he said, ma'am, I can see a hammer. I said, what? This child took his time to observe. Just to observe first. Find something creative. Find something new. We all are so hurried up in our lives that we seldom get time to wait and watch. That's the first, I would say, need for creativity. We need to stop, we need to observe, and slowly we need to build creativity. And that's possible in each one of us because it's already inherent. It just needs to be unleashed. I'm going to now share with you, of course, some beautiful ideas. My co-host Harshita and Asma will share with you creative ideas and how you can implement it with your children, how you can take it forward with your children. But I need a promise from you. These are just going to be ideas. You are going to be creative on those ideas and share it with us. You can do this with your kids, but it's going to be your creativity. Remember, each one of the 100 participants is going to find a different solution, every idea that's going to be shared with you now. Over to Asma, my co-host for the day.
Thank you, Sudha. I hope I'm audible. Thank you very much. That was very informative and very interesting. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Asma Zaidi. I'm a school leader. I have been teaching for 20 years now. And I'm the territory head for APER for Jammu and Kashmir and Telangana. And it's my pleasure to be here today with all of you and share some very interesting, which I found interesting in my own family and with my own children, ideas to teach history to children creatively. And yes, history, and we will be talking about personal history. I'm sure all of us have got, you know, treasures at home which are not explored because we just don't have time. How many birthday parties have you been to? How many weddings have you attended? Where, you know, we have spent thousands and thousands on hiring photographers and videographers. But in our busy lives, do we ever have time to actually go back to those videos and see those wedding cassettes and see those albums and see those photographs? I really don't think so. I think people have become so busy that there is absolutely no time to see videos and photographs and albums. And you know, the good old days where we had hard copy of albums were fantastic. But I think now we have photographs on our laptops, which again, we don't have time to see. So I think lockdown is the perfect time for all of us to go back to our treasure trove, to dig up all the things that we have missed to form connections with our children. I will pause here and question all of you. Don't you think that in this busy lifestyle, in this rat race that we're all in, our children have lost connections with their family members? All of us don't live in a joint family, and I know that I don't, and a lot of people I know don't. And the children just seem to lose connections with their aunts, with their cousins, with their first cousins, with their grandparents, with relatives, and we just don't have that bond, that relationship anymore. I think this lockdown is the perfect time to renew all those bonds, to get all those people back on board, to form relationships, to nurture and develop relationships with each other. I think another important thing that I would like to tell parents is that giving children a sense of belonging, telling them where they belong, a sense of family, a sense of identity is a very, very, very crucial and important part of growing up. And it's very important that you give your children this stability and this anchoring. Without this anchoring, children don't have the confidence. If you want your child to be very confident when he grows up, trust me, having this anchor in the family lineage, in their own identity, in knowing who they are, is very, very important. Another quick point I would like to mention is that if you see your lives and if you think about everything that happened, if I asked you what happened 2 3 days ago, 4 5 days ago, you will not be able to remember most of it. And I'm 100% sure that if you remember things, it is only going to be because they're connected to your emotions. And like Ms. Sudha said just now, the happy feeling, the angry feeling, the frustrated, the sadness, if you think about it and you close your eyes and you try to recall, these are the things that you remember. So if you want your memories for your childhood, for your children to be memorable, if you want them to have beautiful memories of this lockdown, one of the beautiful things that you can do is connect with your children, open your albums, take out your diaries, take out your, all the things that you have collected, which are personal to you, and share them with your children. Tell them stories. What is storytelling? Tell them stories about your life. Tell them stories about their grandparents. Tell them stories about their aunts and uncles. Tell them about how you made mistakes. Talk to them about regrets that you had in life. Talk to them about the mistakes you wish you hadn't made. Let children see that you are human. And trust me, once children start looking at you as a very human person, as a person who has been struggling to come up and deal with life, their perception with you completely changes. They really start understanding you. They start understanding the context in which you're working from. They forgive you more easily for the mistakes that you have made. And I think that's a very, very important thing to have for children as they grow up. So talk to them about stories, talk to them about hardships, talk to them about perseverance, talk to them about decisions that you have made. And of course, do everything, have a timeline, have a family tree, draw family trees, talk about aunts and uncles. Use this lock time period to connect to, your relatives, to your friends, to your cousins that children haven't met for years and you haven't had the time to catch up. And I'm sure that it is going to be a lot of fun for you and for your children. I'm going to share with you a few things that I have done for my children, which help them to understand and take me and accept me as a person. I think my children have seen my journey. All of you know that I'm a working mother, and during normal days, it is really hard for me. I try and manage everything. I have somebody at home, but I give all my time to my children. And I think one of the ways that I have learned that my children have accepted me is because they're able to connect to me. They're able to connect to my problems. They're able to connect to my emotions. They're able to connect to me as a person and have seen me grow. And I think this is very, very important for all of us to have with our children. So I'm going to share a few things that I've shared with my own children, and I hope you are able to dig up and get some things out of your own. If you can see, this is my report card. It's really messy now, but this is my LKG report card. And yes, my daughter found it very reassuring to see that Mama did not get all A's. So it's a report card, and it really, tickled my children. They used to have so much fun going through my stuff. And this is my diary that I have, since 1995. So what was I doing when I was in 12th grade? How did I study? What was my study routine? How much hard work did I do? When did I slip up? So we have these conversations with my children, and they're really able to connect. So I think this is a very creative idea of getting your children to link up with your life. And these are a few things that I have made with my children. And some of these pages were done during the lockdown. Can you see them? So these are scrapbooks that we have made for their baby pages. And so this is how the children grew up. These are little activities that we have done, little notes that we have made, stickers that we have stuck, tried to make a scrapbook of the children as they grow up, gotten them connected to their families, gotten them connected with their cousins, showed them just shared with them a lot of their stories of things that happened while they were growing up. And trust me, when children realize how much effort you have put in when they were growing up, and the things that you did for them as they were growing up, they are really grateful and they connect to you more. I'll share a little story with you. I have 3 daughters, and between the first and the fifth one, there is a gap of almost 5 years. And we were sorting out through our treasure trove of history, and we found cassettes where my eldest daughter's voice was recorded. And believe me, you should have seen my youngest one. She was zapped, and she didn't know what a cassette was. She didn't know what a tape recorder was. She couldn't fathom. She was so fascinated by a cassette, by how the tape twirled and how you could put it inside a tape recorder and listen to the voice, because ye CDs ka zamana hai or laptops ka zamana hai, and she couldn't imagine what a cassette recorder was. And it made me think how much technology has changed over the years. It made her realize that things have changed, how technology has changed. We used to have VCRs. These children don't have VCRs. So I think it makes history come alive for children when you dig up your old things and show them things that happened a long time ago. So it's a great way to do history with children. It's a great way to get them interested into what happened and how things used to happen a long time ago. And this is another thing that I'm going to share with you. It's my diary. And if you can see it, it's again from 1996, and it's a recipe book. So these are little things that my children see that helps me to connect with them, that gives me a lot of things to talk about with them and build very strong bonds, which will last for a long time. I think it's very important for parents that they share their mistakes, they share their faults, they share their regrets and how they have goofed up things in life. I think it really helps children to learn these lessons firsthand as they grow up. So this is another history that we have done together. We did a cross stitch for getting my anniversary, and that is another thing that you can revive. There are many creative ideas that you can do with children to connect them to their families, to connect them with with the people that they have grown up with aunts and uncles. You can make scrapbooks, you can have diaries, you can make a collage of certificates, you can make children feel good about who they are and what they have been doing. I think my time is almost up. So if there are any questions, we would love to answer them a little later. And I would like to pass on to Harshita, and then I will come back again to answer any questions. Harshita, over to you.
Thank you, Asma. What a wonderful ideas and creative ideas. And I'm sure that every one of us will definitely dig out all those photographs and convert it into a scrapbook and a beautiful album. Thank you so much. Okay. My name is Harshita Sharma. I'm founder director of Brainstorm International and an international phonics trainer and a territory head of ECA APER Pune territory. I think we should all thank to Technology and Early Childhood Association, APER team, the entire APER team who has actively engaged and kept us well connected to support teachers, parents, and children. As Swati ma'am says that curriculum without arts is just eh. If you look at the spelling of the word earth, in that if you remove art, it is left out with eh. So art brings life to the curriculum, and life without art, I think the curriculum would be of no use. It is very challenging for parents in this difficult time to keep all the children engaged and be with them and build this relationship which is there. It's really challenging that how do we keep children occupied? I'm talking about how do we keep children occupied and not just busy, which is there. Children are going through a lot of frustration, anxiety, and they have no opportunity to express in any ways. We as parents need to provide them variety of art forms to release their anxiety and anger. Children and stress get stored in non-verbal part of the brain that may come up with illness later. These art forms, whether it's a drama, theater, dance, research has confirmed that depression and all our negative emotions are just physical energies. We want these emotions to get out of our body in a non-way. The creative process is an amazing relate. Child has a unique learning style. We all know that we have visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic learners, which are there. Every child would find out his own way of. Am I audible? Am I audible? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Rishita, you can go ahead.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, in between it was not audible?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
We can hear
Okay.
you. We can hear you.
Okay. You can hear? Okay. So, research has confirmed that depression, anger, and all our negative, again, not audible? Audible?
Sweet last night.
We can hear you, Harshita. Go on.
You can clear, please go on.
We can hear you. Please go on.
Okay. Are all negative emotions, and they are just physical energies. We all need to take these emotions to get out of our body in a non-destructive way. The creative process is an amazing release. Art forms are healing medium. Every child has a unique learning style. And some children might enjoy dancing. Some children might enjoy listening to the music. Some children would like to do the visual art which is there. As Albert Einstein said, that knowledge is more important, imagination is more important than knowledge. And at this point in time, I think as parents and teachers, we need to make sure that children are not burdened with the academic activities and the worksheets which are there. So how we can take them through the process? What are the different mediums which are there? How we can creatively engage them which is there? Right? Okay. Now, how many of you have heard the word mandala? If you have heard the word mandala, just show me a thumbs up. Okay. So mandala is a Sanskrit. It means circle in Sanskrit. It's a spiritual and a ritual symbol in Hinduism and Buddhism. It represents universe. The circular design symbolizes the idea that the life is never ending and everything is connected, right? So when children are going through a lot of frustration and they can't release, and what we need to do as a family, okay, What we need to do as a family. Can you hear me?
No.
Can you? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, Harshita.
Okay. Right. So we need to find out maybe 2 slots as a family time together. One could be a physical activity. One could be a slot where a family can come together and have some board games, do some visual arts. To start with, if you just simply take this paper and what I've just drawn a right and made. Now, what you can do is simply with the the colors, you can keep adding patterns and really don't have to think what will be the final image. So when we look at art as a therapeutic form, we don't know what will be the final image would be. We have a picture in mind, but the outcome can be completely different, which is there. So this is a very good as a mindful exercise. It's a very good meditative visual forms, which is there. So at home, you can do that. You also get the ready-made mandalas where you just have to just fill in these colors which are there. These are with the sketch pens, and you get these black and white. You can even take out the printouts and then just fill in the colors. And it's available online also. And if you want to use the watercolors, maybe you can have this earbird, just dip in the paint and so probably you can just dip in the paint. You start with something like this. So very small children, what they can do is just start with a dot and then probably we can just dip in the color and add like this, and then you can also keep adding the colors, and it would be a wonderful experience doing this mandala together, which releases the tension and a very relaxing visual art form, very easy. So if children are young, you can use this. If children are a little older, you can probably use this. You can sketch pen or the pencil colors, whatever is available. There's a wonderful thing which you can do with children. Another thing is sometimes children can't communicate. Where do we start? How do we start? What do we do? Right? So as a family, when we are sitting together and we have, say, okay, image of maybe one of the family member, and you have, say, a smiley face and a sad face. So what this member of the family, so this is say mama who's wearing a specs, what she likes to do and what she don't likes to do, which is there. So do we actually know what each one of the family member they like or they don't like, which is there? You can have various pictures and we can just select a picture and pick up a picture. We can talk about that and so on, which is there. Now, when you look at the various pictures, these are just pictures which I was just scribbling here while I was listening to the session. You can pick up maybe an object because children need a medium to talk. They can't express directly in the words and they don't know how to do that, right? So if you pick up any of the objects which are there, these are the beautiful little picture objects which I keep picking up from various places. And probably you can build up a story and connect it. So these are all my, like, say, classmates, and they're all sitting, and his name is Joe, and he's, say, Tom.
Can you show us, ma'am? Can you show us?
Okay,
You
so
can
we
put
have,
your
say,
camera
Tom.
down.
Yeah, so you have, say, Tom, you have, say, Jay, you have, say, Ruchita, right? And that's how they can relate to. So the Ruchita is like, say, looking very sad today. Why she's looking very sad today? Because she has not spoken to any of her friends. Okay, so let's do one thing. Can we talk to each other and see? And you can just build on the stories. The story doesn't have any moral, doesn't have any kind of moral ending, which is there. You can build impromptu stories, right? Now, I'd like to show you a sand tray. Now this is a sand tray, so you can also build a picture. Now this was actually an image which was built by a child house, and father who was at the house, and there are these pictures which are there, so they can build up the stories to show. So when I asked the child, what the other side, and the child told that my mother is all the time tense. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Harshita, you will have to stop. I mean, you have to stop moving much. Otherwise, this will create a little issue in the voice. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So you can probably use these mandalas, which are very, very good. You can have this picture cards and have it. You can even, as a family, what you can do is just take a blank paper and start drawing something, and probably anything. So you don't have an image. It's not drawing what you normally have in school, like a drawing. So when you look, of you, it is not guided. It is just flowing. Whatever comes to my mind, I just keep drawing, and then I pass it on to. So I've just drawn this one, and then I pass it on to another family member, and they add it to that, and it keeps on, and then we. Okay. Right. So that's how we can just complete the picture, and a new story is built on without thinking what the outcome of the story and what the story is. And then we sit and talk about it, Yeah.
You could just hold the picture up.
Okay.
So that
this one, yeah. This one, this is just a sketch pen. I have just used the sketch pen. That I think if you use the watercolor or the poster color, that would be a great fun, and it would be much more better, because that you'll have a different experience, which is really good, right? So you can just pass on to each family member, and they can add their creative art, and then at the end we discussed, okay, there's a beautiful flower, and then there were some butterflies which came among the flowers, and you can about it. So it's a good way of communicating and sharing your experiences. Not judging, and we don't critique at line, but for a it can be a flag, or it can be any it represents a child, which form is very, very therapeutic, and we have many different ways of doing it. So this was my first guided painting. So this is not a therapeutic art which is there, but when we talk about something like this one is a therapeutic visual art, what we can do it, right? Okay, so I think we'll take up the questions, which would be now. If you have any questions, thank you so much for listening to us. I think you have all got some input from whatever we had in today's session, and we are now open for the question answers if you have anything.
Yes, thank you, everybody. I hope in this lockdown, you're going to use the opportunity to form strong family bonds and have good relationships, and use our ideas to spend time creatively with your children. And like Ms. Sudha said, you can unleash that creativity and just use your own confidence and your sense of imagination. And everybody has it in us. It's just a matter of executing it.
Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. We will be open to questions. And before that, again, I reiterate, before starting any creative activity with your children, I would love to see all of you all becoming a child once again. Unleash creativity, and then let's start integrating it with a child. And this is the best time. Lockdown period is the best time. It's going to do wonders for all of you all.
Yes.
Here are the questions, please.
You can send the questions on chat. Okay, it seems as if we've been really good and they don't have any questions to ask. Maybe if there are no questions, then if one Anuradha wants to ask a question.
Others, please mute yourself. Only those who want to ask questions. I think we have Neeru ma'am who would want to ask some questions. Yes, ma'am.
While people are waiting, I would like to add one more point that I had forgotten. I think it's very important that we tell our children the lessons that we have learned in life. What's the use of learning so many lessons? What's the use of if we don't share it with our children? So I think parents, while you're going through the albums, your diaries, all your old stuff, it's going to be great if you can share your life lessons with your children.
Okay, can we take questions? There was one question, Asma, one sec. Ma'am was asking a question.
I don't think it's a question, Sudha. There are no questions.
No, she had put her hand up, so I was just thinking if
you can unmute. I think there are not a lot of people, so maybe you can unmute and ask your question to save time. Lenovo TB4. I think participants can unmute and ask their question.
Participants, please unmute.
Ma'am, I don't have a question. I just want to add up this thing. Okay, we can add up a new creative, means it is somewhat native only. Creative activities can be include in this, like giving a single letter as a O, and you need to draw something which is circle in shape, and you need to draw only the O lettered word and O lettered means O lettered shaped O, like, can we?
Yeah, sure. You can do whatever you want depending on the context that you are using it for.
Giving shapes and challenging them to complete. Giving shapes and challenging them with the capital letters.
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I think that's it. So I think we've come towards the end of our session because we don't really have questions. So
yes, I think we are on time.
Yeah.
It's just 5 o'clock. So we presume that, yes.
Yes, Sudha, you're saying something.
Yeah, we just presume that there are no questions right now. Yeah, thank you so much. In a nutshell, we just want to reiterate what we have given you today about creativity and how we really need to unleash, how we really need to observe, find time, and how we really need to practice implementation. Like Asma gave us beautiful ideas. Now, I'm all of us must have sometimes worked on the scrapbook for sure, but I really appreciate, I'm sure we all appreciate Asma's ideas on how we speak about our journeys or life journeys with the kids, because generally the kids that, you haven't done this, I'm facing this. So Asma took us through the scrapbook and she said, why not, talk to them about your journey through a scrapbook. It's a communication that she's talking about, a beautiful way of communicating it to the child. Yeah, thank you so much. And it was a pleasure for us to share our thoughts with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you,
Thank you for
everybody.
attending
Yeah.
and joining and for your time.
If you're still not an APER member, please become an APER member. Go to the ECA website and please do become the APER member.
Thank
you. Just repeat that. How do I become the APER member? What did you say?
Yeah, if you can just go on ECA website, I think eca.-india.org, then you can find their membership and you can become a member of APER. APER is for primary and ECA is the Early Childhood Association. We have a lot of resources, a lot of books, and a lot of live sessions by Swati ma'am going on every day. So please stay tuned for all of the sessions, whatever is going on. So once you are in the group, you will be intimated. So if you're not yet, ECA is Early Childhood Association, that is for the pre-primary, and APER is Association for Primary Educators.
Just a sec, I have.
Thank you.
One sec. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah, there is this person out here who has just shared a question, very good question. So I thought I will just.
Yes, ECA is a part of, APER is a part of ECA.
Question from Shweta, and she has a very good question. She's saying, as a parent during lockdown, we have so many things to manage, family work, and how do we really manage excitement and happiness expression?
It's like, I think you can try a lot of visual arts, a lot of drama, theater, role plays, which are there, which would be real good fun. The role plays are really, really good.
And if you want your children to know
things like kids yoga, which is a good.
If you want your children to be in your shoes, then get them to act like you. So I think if they're small and if they act like you, they will really understand your pain. So you can do a lot of things with children, even during the lockdown. It's just a matter of managing your time.
Thank you so much.
English. Okay, I think Sudha, we're done with the session. And,
yeah, we'll exit.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Lucky, for all your support, all the technical support, and our mentor. Thank you.
Wonderful session, Asma, Sudha, and Harshita. Wonderful session.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Harshita.
Bye-bye.